You just arrived here in beautiful Asuncion, Paraguay, and you're bored out of your mind because you have no friends. Place seems pretty chill, pretty relaxed, not a whole ton going on. You don't know anyone here, of course, you just got here. It's very far from your home country. You might not speak native Spanish. It's a very unique, very interesting culture, and you're like, dang, where do I start? What do I do? How do I start meeting people? That's what this video is for. I want to give you an in-depth, practical guide on how you can go from coming here to Asuncion and not knowing anyone to building up a solid social circle and having an abundant social life, having awesome friends, local friends, expat friends, and yeah, just achieving what I ultimately think is most important for making a place feel like home, the people. So let's get into it. My name is Esteban. I am an American expat living here in Asuncion, Paraguay, and I have no plans of leaving this place. Watch the other videos on my channel if you want to find out a little bit more as to why I've made that decision of not wanting to leave this place. Like, subscribe, all the normal stuff. Check me out on Instagram as well, at Esteban Expat. That's a great place to reach out to me directly. And yeah, follow for more, stay tuned for more. So, first of all, welcome to my kitchen. Isn't it nice? I've got a fridge, a microwave, a stove, washing machine that actually is kind of nice. No dryer, but I've got my drying rack going right now on the balcony. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cook my dinner for the night. So I just got back from the gym and I hit legs and I'm freaking starving. So I'm gonna be talking to you guys while I'm cooking. It's gonna be like a cooking vlog slash informative video. So let's get into it. Thankfully I've got the DJI mic, so you'll be able to hear me no matter what. So, first thing is, I'm gonna assume that you're coming to Asuncion, right? Other parts of Paraguay, it's gonna be a little bit tougher, but Asuncion is a place where it's not super socially abundant on the surface, but if you make a little bit of effort, I think it's actually even easier to make friends here than a lot of other places that might be more lively because of the type of people who are here. I've spoken ad nauseum about this already. Just the type of people here are very good. You have, I'll give a quick recap. Very good, hospitable, friendly locals with a rich culture who are, very welcoming of foreigners, and foreigners who tend to be here for longer term, right? They tend to be spending more time here, tend to be serious people, tend to be pretty mature, and they tend to have quite a bit of substance to them and quite a bit that you can relate to them on. So, first things first is just be intentional and get out of your apartment. Let's just say day one, let's just say you're staying in Villamora, for example. A lot of you might be, right? Or you're around, the common areas of Asuncion. I'm gonna say if you're a foreigner, especially if you're someone who doesn't speak native Spanish, what you should do is start by meeting other foreigners. Now, are you eventually going to want to meet locals? Yes, of course. The locals are the people who are really gonna have the keys to the city, the keys to the country for you, and the people who are really gonna make this experience, the experience of living here, something culturally substantive, right? Like, you're never gonna truly feel at home in this place until you meet the foreigners. Until you meet the locals. But your best way to get your social life started and to have some people to put yourself in the positions to be able to meet locals with is by meeting other foreigners. And let's be truthful, your closest friends here are going to be other foreigners, meaning the ones where you can like really, really bond deep, because if you don't speak Spanish, well, then there's a language barrier. And then also, our values are a lot more common, right? The foreigners here, for the most part, they tend to be pretty entrepreneurial. They tend to be, pretty focused on finding purpose in their life. Especially if they live here full time, which I would highly encourage you to focus on cultivating the relationships most with the people here who are here to stay, or at least make this a regular destination for them, right? These are people who tend to be here for good reasons. And you're going to be able to really resonate with that if you are somebody who's here for those types of reasons, right? Maybe you work online, you want to work on your business, you want to lower your taxes, maybe you want to invest in real estate at some point, maybe you want to find a long-term relationship with a Paraguayan girl, right? You're focused on dating seriously, marriage, maybe you're older, maybe you're a retiree, and you see this as a good, calm place for you to have a good retirement. Maybe you're starting in Asuncion, but you have plans to move out into the countryside and buy a plot of land and build a house. Like, that's a certain kind of person who wants to do that kind of stuff. And with your foreigners, other foreigners, you're going to have really deep relationships. Now, don't be afraid to essentially cold approach other foreigners. Now, I know this sounds weird, and by cold approach, I'm going to elaborate on what I mean by that. I'm being very slow on my food. All I've done is put the freaking stuff on the counter, but I'm focused for you guys. First of all, straight up just going to them in person and saying what's up. Reason why I say that is because Asuncion is still a place that's, I guess, unsaturated enough by foreigners to where simply by being another foreigner, you instantly have a level of rapport with that person that you might not have in other places. Obviously, if you're in your home country, then they're just another person. But if you're in other destinations where there's already a lot of other foreigners, places that are more popular, then you're kind of are just another person too, because they see other foreigners all the time. Here, with few exceptions, there are some places where you do see a good bit of foreigners. For the most part, we're not interacting with other foreigners very often. So just by you being American, Canadian, Australian, German, Dutch, right, wherever you're from, just by you being from another country, you have like a level of trust with that other person. If you see somebody who obviously looks like a foreigner and say they're just like sitting at a coffee shop and working on their laptop. I've made several friends off of that. People who have came up to me and people who I've went up to just at a coffee shop on my laptop. So literally go to Shopping del Sol, go to Paseo La Galeria, go to Shopping Mariscal, and go to the coffee shops there. And you're gonna see, these are the only places where you're gonna see a decently high concentration of foreigners. But yeah, if you just see a guy who's on his laptop, or maybe he's walking around, go to the food court. That's even better, because then they tend to be more not as focused on the work, right? They're just hanging out, eating some food. If you see a foreigner who looks like a cool guy and he's eating at the food court by himself, literally don't be afraid to go up to him and be like, hey man, I just got here. I haven't seen many other foreigners. You're not from here, are you? And say it in English. They'll be like, yeah man, I'm not from here. I'm from blank. Boom, there you start the conversation. But you can say that statement of, I haven't seen many other foreigners here, with a lot of credibility, right? If you're in, I don't know, in the heart, in the touristy part of Mexico City, for example, and you say that, they're gonna be like, bro, like, what are you doing? What do you mean you haven't seen other foreigners here? Like, are you blind? You know, if you're in Bangkok, right? Or if you're in Dubai, right? There's people, it's a very international city. It's like, what do you mean you haven't seen other foreigners? Here, that's not the case. So, and I'm just giving you this as a conversation starter. You can start the conversation however you want. If you're someone who's a little bit more extroverted, then this is going to come naturally to you. But I'm just giving you this advice in case you are a bit more introverted and you want somewhere to kind of start. You know, you can comment on what he's wearing, comment on what he's doing, comment on the type of laptop he has. I've had people multiple times comment on the conversations I've had over the phone. So I'll be in a Starbucks, for example, with I have like a noise canceling mic headset, and I'll be doing sales calls. So I sell solar. So I'll be talking about solar, and then I hang up the call and they go, hey, were you speaking English? Where are you from? Or I literally had a guy in exact quotes, like this is an exact verbatim what he said. He goes, were you just ripping a solar sales call? I'm like, yeah, I was. And then instantly it's like, oh dude, like, you know, where do you sell? Or you know, whatever it is, you know, do you do it online? Like, do you work for yourself? Do you generate your own leads? Like, we just started having that conversation, and that's like, okay, where am I from? Where's he from? Cool guy, American Uruguayan guy, like Uruguayan guy who spoke good English. And then, yeah, I had this German girl just recently. She was like, hey, you're speaking English. I'm like, yeah, I am speaking English. Where are you from? I'm American. Where are you from? From Germany. Dun, 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 dun. And then boom, you make a connection. So what I'm getting at is literally just by being a foreigner, you can go up to other foreigners and just be like, hey, well, don't say this exactly, but this is the idea. You are a foreigner. I am a foreigner. We don't know each other, but because we're both foreigners, we should get to know each other. I'm Esteban. Nice to meet you. You know what I mean? Like, you can literally pull that off here. So you don't have to do that all the time. But what I'm getting at is there is that vibe. There is that energy. And I really like Asuncion for that. Because again, like I said, you're getting foreigners who are really cool and who tend to be here, who tend to be mature people, be here for good reasons. And then it's also fresh enough to where you guys can just kind of bond at the fact that like you're foreigners. Those days will change eventually. Eventually, due to the influx of foreigners, of which I'm partially contributing to by making this content, that level of rapport will start to become diluted, but I think we're years away from that. Real quick, guys, here's an important point that I definitely wanted to make that I completely forgot to include in the original recording. By the way, check me out. I finally started cooking. I at least cooked the meat here so far. You're hearing me talk about being comfortable just going up to other foreigners and just being like, hey man, let's be friends, right? Which I know can seem pretty brash and seem pretty intimidating at first, but I want you to keep this in mind when it comes to your mindset going into this. Like I've talked about, and like might be apparent to you, Asuncion is a place where it can feel a little bit isolating at first. There's not a whole lot going on the surface, right? Once you get beneath the surface, there's a whole ton going on, but on the surface, when you get here, it seems pretty quaint. So a lot of other people, especially other foreigners, are going to be in your same position to where they want to meet other people, they want to know what's going on, they want to have more connections, and 9 times out of 10, by you going up to them, just being like, hey man, you know, you're not from here, you know, where are you from? You know, why are you in Paraguay? My name's Esteban, how are you? Like, by making that introduction, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna walk away from that interaction thinking, dang, like that was great. I'm glad that guy did that. I'm thankful that he did that because I need more friends too. So just don't forget that, keep that in mind. Asuncion is a place where there's very awesome people who are hungry to meet others, but many of them, especially if they haven't watched this video, I mean, come on, you gotta watch this video, don't have too many outlets to meet other people yet. So you are providing value by breaking that ice and just creating that interaction. Now, where else? So take that same concept and apply it to social media. You've probably heard this from every travel destination ever, but like Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, there's a bunch of them. Here, I'm gonna give you some practical places to look. Follow us at the Asuncion Times on Instagram. We do networking events every Tuesday. Come to our networking events. And just stay in touch with our content. A lot of really good, awesome content about Paraguay. You'll see me on there. You'll see other faces on there. Never hesitate to DM people on Instagram if they look like they're cool and they are here in Asuncion. Digital Nomads and Expats in Asuncion on Facebook is a very good Facebook group, partially run by some of our team members. There you'll see our Tuesday events as well as events every Thursday, pretty much every Thursday. Wednesday, Bitcoin meetup sprinkled in. Sunday, the Asuncion Run Club. I'm gonna shout them out here real fast. It's a good plug, but it's just because I have this sticker here on my clipboard. At Asuncion Run Club, if you're into running. That's another one. What else? You can start there. And then just look up anything else, right? Expats in Asuncion, Asuncion Americans, Asuncion Australians. I don't know. Just get creative. You'll find a bunch. Another thing. Go on Instagram and look up the Asuncion location tag. Start with just Asuncion Paraguay, and then you can get more specific. Say, for example, you're living close to Shopping del Sol. You can put the Shopping del Sol location tag, right? And you will see a bunch of posts of people who have posted at Shopping del Sol or in Asuncion. Go on their profile, especially if it's a recent post, because that means that person is probably still around. Go on their profile. I've made friends this way as well. And it's if they seem like a cool guy, just be like, hey man, just saw your post, was scrolling around the Asuncion location section, whatever it's called, the section tab, whatever it is, on Instagram, and saw your post. Looking to make some new friends. You seem like a cool guy. What brings you here to Paraguay? Haha. Whatever it is, right? Like I said, like you can literally be that direct. So yeah, go on Instagram and look up locations, right? Asuncion, Shopping del Sol, Paseo de la Galería, Shopping Mariscal, La Costanera, Parque de la Salud, Parque Ñuazú. Bunch of just public spaces, right? That you can look up and you can just DM people and then make friends. What else? I'm going to get into nightlife here in a second. I want to do a good section here on nightlife, and then I'm going to talk about making friends with locals. So stay tuned. This is a jam value packed video. I'm not even cooking my food, just because I want to finish recording this. Maybe I'll start cooking later. What else? Yes. Here's a tip that applies very strongly in Asuncion, but really goes for anywhere you are in the world. I'm going to include it anyways. Obviously, when you're having a conversation with someone, like say you just met them in person at the mall or at a bar, obviously at the end, be like, yeah, what's a good way to stay in touch with you? WhatsApp or Instagram, which one's better? I'd say if you are active on Instagram and you have a profile where you have pictures, or maybe you run a business on Instagram, or you are pretty active on social media, try to lean towards Instagram, just because that way they can get to know you better through your posts. If you don't have an Instagram, then you can go with WhatsApp. Whatever works. That's usually my line. It's like, oh yeah, let's definitely stay in touch. Like WhatsApp or Instagram, which one's better? And then get their Instagram, and here's something I did when I first got here. Write their name down on a note. Now this sounds super sweaty. This sounds super try hard, but it works. Write their name on a note. This note at this point would be far too long for it to be useful for me anymore. I no longer add names to this note. I have other notes for separate things that I categorize, I guess, people into loosely. I remember I titled it PY Network. That was the name of the note. And as I got people's contact, I would put their name down and then put the contact that I have. So like Christian, Instagram, David, WhatsApp, boom, 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 boom. I wouldn't put the actual @ or anything. I would just put what the platform was, and then I'd go back and look them up whenever I wanted to hit them up. The note just helps you kind of keep track of things and not forget about these people. And then the most important part to this piece is be intentional about reaching out to them later. Default to being the one who takes the initiative to make the next plan. A lot of times we get people's contact information and we just don't do shit with it. You know, you meet someone, you get their Instagram, and you don't do anything with it. That's fine, life happens, especially as you do start to get more established here, as you do start to get busier here, and you do start to make more friends. Naturally, some people are gonna fall by the wayside. You can't hang out with everyone. You only have 24 hours in a day, right? But then that's when you have the luxury to be a little bit more, I guess, selective. But in the beginning, when you haven't met many people at all, like let's just say you meet someone on a Tuesday at the mall, hit them up that Friday. Hey man, you got anything fun going on this weekend? Any events going on this weekend? Or if you really hit it off, like, hey man, like you down to link up and grab some dinner? Boom. Or if it's like earlier in the day, let's grab some coffee. If they look like a fit person, hey, what gym do you work out at? Oh, here's a great one. What gym do you work out at? They're going to tell you their gym. Whatever gym it is, especially if it is in a decent area and is a gym that you would like to check out, be like, okay, like I want to check out some different gyms. How about I get a day pass at your gym this weekend and then we hit a lift together? Boom. But like, be the one who makes the effort, like initiates to make the plan. Just default to that and set a reminder. Or you don't even need a reminder now that I think about it, but like, remind yourself to, like on Fridays, open up your list, open up your note on a Friday, or maybe on a Thursday, you can start gearing up for the weekend and be like, okay, what do I want to do this weekend? Here are my people. Who can I reach out to? Right? Be intentional about taking your weekend to get to know better the people that you've met. either that week or other weekends, whenever, right? Like really cultivate these friendships. And yeah, take the first step. Next, nightlife. What do I recommend for nightlife? You can start in Carmelitas. Sure, fine. You can start in Carmelitas. Carmelitas is the red light district. I say that with like massive comillas, red light, lol, because it's not that red of Asuncion. And there's a lot of bars, a lot of nightlife. You can go there. It's in Villamora. And you're going to see a bunch of people. Bunch of foreigners too. So that's an even better place to do what I told you about, where like you go up to a foreigner at the mall and say, hello foreigner, I am foreigner, how are you? You can really do that in nightlife, nightlife environments, because people are very social. It's a good place to meet locals as well. You know what? I'm going to blend this point with how to meet locals. So, yeah, your best bet to start meeting locals is going to be a nightlife environment as well. Like to get the best first start. Why? Because one, they're just a lot more social, and like the language barrier won't be as big of an issue. If you go up to a local at the mall, at Starbucks, and you're just like, hey man, I want to be your friend, more power to you. I give you a bunch of credit. But that interaction isn't going to be as smooth. But yeah, say you're at a bar, or it doesn't have to be a bar, it just could be like a dinner at a restaurant at night. Or just walking around the street in Carmelitas, you can tell that they're like going from one bar to another. You can stop them on the street, whatever it is. And I've talked about this on a different video already on how to escape the gringo bubble. I think I mentioned this video earlier already, but great video to watch, by the way, if you want to learn how to culturally immerse yourself here more. Go up to them and just say, hey, especially try your best to do this in Spanish. So now here comes the elephant in the room. Learn fucking Spanish, please. Like, I know it's easier said than done. I know I speak native Spanish, so I speak from a privileged position when I say this. But be very intentional about learning Spanish and practicing and getting good. So go up to a group of locals who seem cool, who seem like they're having a good time, and be like, hey guys, if they seem really cool and they're open, to be like, hey guys, like I just got here. I'm looking to make friends with more Paraguayans. Like, can I hang out with you guys? Or I'm looking to make some friends. Like, you guys seem cool. What's your name? Or, hey, I'm looking to make some more friends, people who are from here. You guys are from here, right? Yeah, we are. Oh, you're from Asuncion? Yes, we're from this part. And then keep going. Then they're going to ask you, where are you from? Right? At that point, they'll just take the reins of the conversation for you. They are very social if you make a genuine approach, a genuine, honest approach to really get to know them. Like, don't do it if you don't really care. But if you genuinely want to make friends with locals, like, that's a good way to do it. Even better if you have other friends, right? Other maybe you've made some foreigner friends. You can be like, all right, cool group of Paraguayans over there. Let's go hang out with them and see what they're about, right? And then just fucking take a seat at the table. Like, they'll invite you to take a seat. Or you can say, what's a good place to make friends with Paraguayans? Like, what's a good bar I can go to make some friends? They'll be like, bro, like, sit down. Like, we are your friends. Like, sit down right now. Like, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Australia. Awesome. What the hell is an Australian doing in Paraguay? ¿Y por qué Paraguay? And that's it. That's how you get started, right? Again, I've said this before, but thankfully Paraguay is a place where the locals here tend to be very opening to foreigners for now. Don't come here and ruin our reputation, please, you who are watching. Come here, be good, be respectful, appreciate the culture, don't be a sexpat, don't go around doing drugs all the time, don't be ignorant, you get it, right? Be mature, be a good person, and as long as we keep that up, we'll still be very well received here. So that's nightlife rules in general. I want to give you 3 bars to start at. None of these are in Carmelitas, which is good because that'll get you out of Carmelitas. But these are bars that are very just like hometown hangout spot bars. Like, this is very big in America. I'm not sure how, actually no, pubs. They're similar to pubs. They aren't pubs, but pub culture in Europe, for example, is very, very similar vibe. And then in America, we have like our college town bars, like our hometown bar. where just like people go to hang out, and then like you go back and during the holidays and all your old high school buddies are there. It's like that type of vibe, which I think is very good to do this kind of stuff because there's a bunch of people just hanging out. There's not super loud music blaring. People are sober enough to where you can talk with them, but drunk enough to where they're very social. And sober enough to where they're still coherent, but drunk enough to where they want to talk to you. There you go. And yeah, just good open energy. 1, Las Lomas Bar in Las Lomas. Or is it called Lomas Bar? I don't know if the last is in it. But Lomas Bar, Lomas, that is in Las Lomas. 2, El Moco Bar, Moco, M-O-C-O. And 3, Ferreteria Pacifico. Ferreteria means hardware store in Spanish. F-E-R-R-E-R, E-T-E-R-I-A, Ferreteria. Pacifico, Pacific. Lomas Bar on Monday night is the most poppin' night for it. That's like the Monday night spot. El Moco Bar on Thursday night. Ferreteria Pacifico, Friday I think is best, but Friday and Saturday both work well. Lomas Bar and El Moco Bar are both in Las Lomas. Ferreteria Pacifico is in Las Mercedes, which I highly recommend you check out if you want to start working your way out of the peak gringo bubble, which is Las Lomas, Villamora, etc., right? Las Mercedes is a good place to start to get out and see more of the city, closer towards the center. Go to Lomas on a Monday, go to Moco on a Thursday, go to Ferreteria on the weekend, and bro, playground, complete playground, just to hang out and meet people. Again, the intention here is to meet people. It's not to get drunk off your ass and dance. It's not to dance reggaeton with some Paraguayan girl and have her grind on you. Use other spots for that. Just a great place to meet wholesome people. So go there and start conversations. Those are my main points for this video. In terms of other stuff, paddle. That's another thing I'm going to recommend. Paddle. Go to paddle spots if you like paddle. If you like pickleball, I know it's a big thing in America. If you like tennis, go play paddle. Running groups, right? I just showed you one. Gyms. Ooh, you want the Paseo La Galeria, Shopping del Sol, cool expat equivalent for a gym? Premier Fitness, Paseo Los Árboles, Premier Fitness. That's going to be your best place to start. I don't work out there personally because I don't live super close. You want to meet cool locals? Go to SmartFit. Go to SmartFit. SmartFit has a lot of locals. Premier has a lot of expats. Zona Fit is another good one. That one's in Paseo La Galeria. And you can, same shit. Go up to a foreigner, be like, hey man, you're a foreigner. Like, or let me work in with you. You know, he's on the bench press. Hey man, cool if I work in with you. Especially if he obviously is a foreigner and you just tell him that in English as if you were in any bar back home. Sorry, any gym back home. Oh, hey man, cool if I work in? He'd be like, yeah, for sure. And then be like, you just spoke to me in English. Where are you from? So that's it. That's it. I could go on and on and on when it comes to this topic. I maybe should have said this at the beginning of the video, but not to toot my own horn, but I am, in case you want any extra trust, I think I am very qualified to speak on this topic. I have a lot of friends here. I've built a social circle here pretty fast. I now host my own events as well. Here's a treat for those of you who stay to the end of the video. I've started doing big asados every month, once a month. You can go on my Instagram at Esteban Expat to see a reel I made of the last one in case you want to check out the vibe. I might post it on my YouTube shorts here soon as well. But they're private, they're invite only, so it's not like a big public thing where you join a WhatsApp group and you get the invite. I invite people manually, but reach out to me on Instagram or leave a YouTube comment. Instagram is best. And say, hey man, saw your video. When's the next asado? And if you seem like a halfway decent person, I will invite you to the next one happily. I want to get to know my subscribers, the cool ones, right? Although for the most part, 100% of you guys have been cool. Thank you to everybody who's reached out to me and who has connected with me personally, by the way. It's been impressive. I only have a couple hundred subs, but I've already made multiple, good connections with people here, and have helped people move here. I've done consultations. This has been incredible. But reach out to me there and I'll be happy to invite you to one of those asados, or we can just link up, right? If you want to make me as a friend, we can link up, do something. I tend to be pretty open. I tend to, give a lot of grace to people who want to come here and establish themselves into the city more. And I'm happy to be a resource for you guys as best as possible. So yeah, reach out to me there and we can make that happen. And that's it. Again, I'm sure I could speak on this topic for hours. One, because I'm good at it, not to toot my own horn, but I am good at it. And two, because I'm passionate about it and I know the value that it carries. And I know that so much of the reason why I've enjoyed this place so much has been because of the people that I've been able to meet. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have anything. I wouldn't be here still. So that's it. Get out there, make some friends. Once you have them, this place is going to be amazing. See you soon.